Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Kandy Technical Fireside Chat. This is the first March Fireside Chat that we're going to be doing. Today, we're going to be covering dashboards, phone numbers, and media. Just kind of introduce you to the team. My name is Simon Logout. I'm the Senior Technical Trainer here at Kandy. We also have Sarah Hughes on the line with us that will be helping answer questions and watching the chat and things of that nature. We do also have Sharon Posadny, who will also be helping with chat functions and answering your questions, things of that nature as we kind of go through the session this morning. So I do want to welcome everybody. We have quite a bit to cover, so we will go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our webcam just to be respectful of your bandwidth and everything else. But by all means, feel free to ask questions in the chat and we will do our best to answer them. All right. So just to look at the agenda for this morning, the first thing we're going to look at is going to be some of the reports that are in our dashboards. We also have a special report that we're going to show you guys that we have just built and given you guys access to through the partner portal. So we'll kind of go through some of those reports and talk about some of their benefits that you may not be aware of. We're going to briefly talk about adding phone numbers to the admin portal and some of the different ways that you can categorize those. And then towards the end of the session, we'll spend some time talking about media and what you can do with some of the media functions that are in the admin, music on hold. And then we'll also talk about site groups, which is another function that some people may not be aware of. So you can actually group multiple locations and change the music on hold for those. All right, so first things first, we're going to go into some of the dashboard reporting. For those of you not familiar, so on the dashboard in the KBS admin, on the orders tab, over on the right-hand side, there is a switch report function. And there's a number of different reports that you can go through in here. We're not going to go through all of these reports today, but we're going to hit some of the highlights on some of the reports that do exist in the system. The first report that we're going to look at is the customer usage report. So this is a great report. It's commonly used by our partners for billing purposes. So it gives you the ability to come in and see which customers are using which products that you're offering to them. And again, it's most commonly used for billing purposes when you guys go to bill the individual SMBs. The next report that we wanted to look at is the financial summary report. The benefit of this one is it is going to give you the ability to see how many subscribers each of your SMBs have. So if you needed to know, the size of the SMB, maybe you're getting ready to do a site visit or something like that, you can quickly come in here, see how many subscribers that SMB has. And that'll give you a pretty good picture as to what you're getting ready to walk into. And then probably one of my favorite reports is actually the revenue versus cost report. And we've been making some changes to the product offerings with the changes to Smart Office and the addition of Smart Office Connect. We've been changing SKUs, things of that nature. And as a result, some of these SKUs needed to come off of your existing SMBs. Well, if you were to previously using the inventory reports to see how many of those SKUs were actually in use, it became a bit difficult to then figure out which of your SMBs actually had those products applied to them. What you can use the revenue versus cost report for is you can first of all change the date range at the top. But then when you export it to Excel, it actually breaks out each of your individual SKUs on an SMB basis. So you can see which SMBs are using which SKUs, and it tells you how many are ordered versus how many are actually available, the delta of that being how many are in use. So you can quickly look for the SKUs that you're trying to change. Maybe you're changing a product, you're adding a new product, changing your packages, those kinds of things. You can quickly come in here, see which SMBs you need to go modify, and then proceed to modifying those SMBs. So it's a really beneficial tool. And again, that's the revenue versus cost report. Will give you the ability to see SKUs on a per SMB basis. The next report that I wanted to show you, and this is the last of the reporting that we're going to talk about, but there is a lot of conversations happening right now in terms of hunt groups and UCD groups, which are essentially a call center type offering. With those types of groups, a common question is, well, I need to see the wait time for customers calling into that hunt group or into that UCD group, or I want to see what the total talk time is for those particular groups. And what you can do is you can actually pull that using the call statistics report. And then we've added to the partner portal a new macro that you can run. It parses the information that's in the call statistics report and adds in a wait time and a conversation time or talk time column. So you can see on a per call basis what these values were. Just to kind of quickly walk you through it, and then I'm going to demo it for you as well. We've added the Excel file that you can download to the partner portal. So if you go into the partner portal, you click on support, and then under the knowledge base, there is a new knowledge article called Add Wait Time and Conversation Talk Time to your call statistics reports. When you go into that knowledge article, there's a link to download the file. You can then download the file, and it looks exactly like this. Now, once you have the file, if you guys want to customize it, you're more than welcome to. You can, add additional fields. You can add some additional functionality to the macro if you need additional information, so that it goes ahead and does those things for you. But essentially, what you're going to do, and the instructions are in it. You copy and paste the information. You'll click the button. And it'll give you all of the wait time and conversation talk time information. So just to show you what that looks like, you can go into assurance and call statistics. Excuse me. Once you're in call statistics, you filter based on the time frame that you want. So that's this drop down up in the top right corner. In this example, we're doing the last week, but you could certainly do the last day or the last month. You'll then export the file. Once you've exported it, this is what one of those files will look like. You can actually just copy all of the information out of the file that you downloaded from the KBS admin. Then what you'll do is you'll open up your macro file. You'll go over to sheet 1 and paste in the data exactly how it is in the report that you downloaded. You'll then go back over to the master tab, and you'll hit the execute button for executing the macro that exists.
If you don't mind, Simon, a couple of things on this.
Yep.
You could go to report schedules, and you could do the call statistics detail report and get everybody in the company. But if you want to filter on a UCD group, you want to do this on, a hunt group, you can do that by the method that he showed you with the call statistics, and then filter down on the left, the scope, click on the UCD group, whatever it is, and then download that. It's the same thing as going to report schedules and downloading the call statistics detail, but it's filtered for a UCD group, a hunt group, or a team that you've got, or a site kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point. It doesn't have to be this call statistics. You can actually go into the schedules and schedule this report so that it comes to you automatically and do the same function when that report does come.
Well, and I think that's one of the reports that will allow you to download immediately. You don't have to have it scheduled. Some of those reports can only be emailed or SFTP'd to you, but several of them do allow you to download immediately, and that's one of them.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's do this. So I do have the file up and running. So this is the file that you would download from the partner portal. Just to show you where that's located, if I come out to, sorry, wrong screen. If I come out to the partner portal here, when you first log in, you'll go into the support tab. From support, under knowledge, you do have a new option here. So you can go into that article, and this click here link is what will allow you to download this file. While I'm in the partner portal, one thing I did want to point out, if I just go back out to the main screen, all of these Fireside chats, we have actually moved into the partner portal. They're located here under webinars. You can come in and view the past webinars. We've removed them off of the front page or off of Kandy.io. So if you wanted to view one of the past webinars, they do exist here. That being said, once you've gone into support, you've gone in here and downloaded your file, it will show up on your computer. So you can save this however you would like. It will come up with a yellow bar typically at the top of Excel asking if you want to enable the macros. So you will want to do that before you start working with this Excel document. You'll then go into the KBS admin, you'll download your call statistics report. I've got one already downloaded, so this is what that would look like. You can download the information. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight the entire sheet here. I'm going to copy it. So I've just hit Control-C on my keyboard. Then I'm going to come over to sheet 1 in my macro file. Once I'm in sheet 1, I'm going to paste in that information, so Control-V. And that's all I need to do. So now that I've got the information in here, what you'll see is you've got all this data that's currently set in 3 columns. When I run my macro, what you're going to see is it's going to parse out that information, and then it's also going to add in a couple additional fields. So let me go ahead and run this macro. It does take a couple of seconds. Obviously, it just depends on the amount of information that you have in your Excel file. All right, so once it runs, what you'll see here is it's actually taken all of the information, and let me maximize this for you. So it's taken the information that was originally in your start time, your answered time, and your end time fields. So these yellow fields are the original columns that existed in the original report. And it's giving you some additional information here. So if we look at, it's taken the start time and it's parsed it out. It's taken the call answered time and it's parsed it out. And then it's also taken the end time and it's separated those values as well. The new fields that you're going to see that it's giving you are these 2 fields right here. So I've highlighted in green just to make it a little bit easier for you. But you can see the wait time for this call as well as the conversation time for this call. So the wait time being the time that it took before somebody answered the call. And then the conversation time, or commonly referred to as talk time, is the amount of time that that telephone call where the 2 parties were actually talking.
And the reason why we did this is because we had several of our customers obviously had our Kandy call center, which was that solution that we discontinued, but they are using UCD groups in order to then replace that instead of going to a third party. And some of the reports that they were missing had this talk time, how long they were on a call with an agent, actually talking to them and tracking that, because maybe they paid their agent, or maybe they controlled how long that is in order to figure out how much they needed to staff for the calls that they have coming in. So this, some people call it talk time, some people call it conversation time, and of course the wait time, how long someone waited before being answered. And so we added this macro to serve as a replacement for some of those reports.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does a really good job. So you may notice right in this report, sometimes it will come back and return an NA for conversation time. What that's telling you is that this call was not answered for whatever reason. And we've given you a status field here, so you can see it says it was abandoned. So the person made the phone call, but before anyone answered, they hung up. So there was no conversation time. The other thing that I wanted to show you, so you do have your calling party and your called party fields over here. So if you wanted to, you can actually, using Excel, you can again just filter on these two fields here. And then it will give you the ability of coming in and looking for a specific telephone number. So in this case, I'm going to look at 4,000. Actually, I'll tell you what. Yeah, unselect all. So now I can look at a specific telephone number. So that would be the UCD group telephone number, or if you were looking for a particular hunt group, you can look at that hunt group telephone number. And now we're looking at all of the calls that happened for that particular telephone number that came into your SMB. So if we wanted to, now we can look at the wait time and conversation time for all of those calls and try and glean some additional information from that. Sarah, did we have any questions about this report, or?
None so far.
All right, perfect.
We did have a question on reports in general about where do you get a list of your products and to know whether or not they're active or inactive or discontinued, because as we have been cleaning up some of these and helping you out in that, and that's in the products listing themselves, and you can export that just like you do right next to the field where you can search. You can download those, it'll list all of them out. And I also put something in the chat to everybody. If you do have a problem with this macro, or you can't run it, there's something, don't open a case with support. Email us at customersuccess@kandy.io and we can help you on that, okay?
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, so let's continue on. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is we're going to get into some of the phone number options here. So I know a lot of you add phone numbers on a regular basis. It's probably a pretty big part of your routine, but there may be a few fields here that you can start taking advantage of that you haven't been before, or maybe you were unaware of what exactly it was you were selecting. For those of you that don't add phone numbers on a regular basis, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can add individual ranges, whether that's one telephone number or 100 telephone numbers, but it's a single range, or you have the ability of doing something a bit more custom and adding them from a file. So just depending on, how many phone numbers you're talking about, whether or not you're adding them, if they're in a single range or if they're in multiple ranges, just depending on the size of the location, will dictate which option you go with there. When you're working with phone numbers, it is going to be under fulfillment and then PSTN DIDs, and you want to be at your partner level, not at the individual SMB level. So I've gone into our Kandy training environment here just to kind of walk you through that. The first ones we're going to look at is adding the individual ranges. So when you go in and you click the Add PSTN DID button over on the right-hand side, it is going to give you the ability to add in a range start and a range end. So, you can add multiple telephone numbers at once, or if you're adding a single telephone number, maybe you're porting in a telephone number, something like that, you can just make the start and end range, the range start and the range end the same number, and that will only import that one. The next field down is the domain field. My recommendation with the domain is that you select the subdomain for the particular SMB that these numbers are for. A common thing that I see, in the training classes and things that I teach is people will try and add the telephone numbers to the primary domain, to the partner level domain. If you do that, you can certainly go through and do that, but they will become phone numbers that are available to any SMB underneath you. Whereas if you add them specifically to a subdomain rather than your primary domain, it will only be available for that particular subdomain. So depending on how you manage telephone numbers, depending on how you guys want to do things, my recommendation would be that you go through and add them to the individual subdomain so they don't accidentally get used where they're not supposed to. The city of the phone number is just a city that those phone numbers are assigned to. The next field down is the system field. So this is a yes/no drop-down. System telephone numbers are generally assigned for things like call grabber, voicemail, and a couple other options there. If you select yes for a system telephone number, it will only be available to those particular types of services. If you're wanting to assign a telephone number to a subscriber, you'll want to choose no for system telephone. The next one down is the DID billing types. So these are more for reporting purposes again, but you have 3 different options there. You can select new PSTN DID, which is going to be the most common option that you'll choose. You can choose non-PSTN extension. So this is for non-DID telephone numbers. So if you just want to add in a particular extension for maybe a hunt group or something like that, you can add in non-PSTN extensions. And then if you need to track for billing purposes or charging purposes, whether or not the telephone number was ported, you do have the option to choose ported PSTN DID. If you are one of those partners that needs to keep track of your ported telephone numbers, you can then export the PSTN DID list, and you can filter based on this DID billing type to determine how many phone numbers have been ported. And then the last field is the carrier, so you're just going to select which carrier these telephone numbers are through. Same concept again. So this is adding them from the file. So if you don't have the template file for adding telephone numbers, you can click on the help icon in the top right of the KBS admin. It is going to give you a long list of things. At the very bottom of your help text, there is a download link. You can see it in the screenshot here. It'll give you the ability to go ahead and download that template file. It does have some generic information in it. That's what that 840 telephone number is with XYZ domain. Just delete that information out, and then you can start adding in the corrected list or your list of phone numbers that you need to import. The benefit here is if you've already got the phone numbers in an Excel file or something like that, you can quickly just copy paste the information. But you do need to start filling out these same fields. So again, what domain are these phone numbers going to? If you want to include the subdomain, then that again would be a very beneficial thing. City, system, DID billing type, those are all fields that you will need to fill out as you're kind of going through and getting ready to import these telephone numbers. Once you've got your phone number list set up and ready to go, in the KBS admin, you're going to choose Add from File. You'll then select the Excel workbook that you have been customizing. Once you've got that done, you'll click the Upload button. The KBS portal is going to, or the admin portal is going to go through, it's going to look at your Excel sheet, it's going to pull out all the information, all of the telephone numbers, and then it's going to give that back to you in the portal. It's going to ask you to verify the information, make sure the information is correct, and then you can go ahead and complete the import process or confirm the import process. It'll then double check to make sure none of those telephone numbers already exist in your PSTN DID list. If they do, it'll come back and highlight them in red, saying that they already exist. Otherwise, it will go ahead and complete the import process and add those telephone numbers based on whatever parameters you've set in terms of domain, billing type, so on and so forth. All right, so just to show you, so again, I'm going to quickly go into the PSTN DID list. I'm just going to look at Kandy Corporate. So if I come into fulfillment, I can look at the PSTN DIDs. Again, if I needed to sort on this billing type, so if I wanted to see which telephone numbers are ported, I can filter here, or you can export the file and then go through and look at the information that way as well. So this is my exported information, and again, you have the ability to look at the billing type and sort and filter based on your needs there. All right, the last section, and we're going to spend a little bit more time on this section, is media. This is a new topic that I don't think we've talked about in the past, but what we're specifically talking about here is adding media to the KBS admin so that you can use it for things like music on hold. You know, so there's a lot of different features and functions that you can set music on hold for. A lot of people don't know it is available for all of your call answer groups. So if you've got a UCD group or you've got a hunt group and you want to play specific music on hold for those particular groups, you do have the ability to do that. And then towards the end of this section, we also will talk about how you can go a little bit more generic and set music on hold for groups of sites. So that, you know, if you've got a particular region or a particular grouping of SMB, or sorry, sites for an SMB that you want to have all the same music on hold for, you can do that as well. So let's take a quick look. So this is just a screenshot of my training environment, one of the SMBs in there. You can see in this screenshot, I do have a couple of a UCD group as well as 2 different hunt groups. And I have the ability of customizing those on an individual basis. So the first thing that we're going to look at here is how to add the media. So to add media, you're going to go into fulfillment, and then under services, you'll click on media. On the right-hand side, you can add your audio file. You'll select the audio file and then go ahead and upload that file. Once you've done so, it will show up in the list here for audio files. So it looks very similar to this right here. You can check the box for that particular audio file and choose Manage Settings. And then it's going to give you the ability to come in and add that music on hold to your overall site hold music. You can add it to a specific hunt group, however you feel you need to customize those options. In these screenshots here, just for keeping screenshots small, I've reduced the number of groups that are available in here, but this would work for UCD groups. It would show for multiple hunt groups, giving you the ability to kind of set those different options. So for example, if you've got a support group that needs music on hold that talks more about how to submit a ticket online or things of that nature, or you have a sales group and you want to, you've just released a new product and you want the music on hold to talk about that new product. Those are all ways that you can kind of customize the hold experience for your customers.
Simon, we probably should, the conversation that we had prior to this, sometimes people get confused on the site level music on hold versus the music on hold that you set here. So when you set it at the site level, that's for their primary line, right? So whenever someone calls them directly, then the music on hold would be used that's set at the site level, or that you go in here and you upload and it's generic for just hold in general there. And you can see that in the second screen capture where it's just hold. It's not hold for music for the hunt group, but it's just the hold. And that's for any call that calls into that person's either extension or direct line. But whenever the music on hold is for a hunt group or for a UCD group, that's only whenever a call goes through the hunt group, and that call is then, when placed on hold, we'll use that music on hold. So that's sometimes that can be confusing to people, but it depends upon what the intended target is. Is it the person's work number or business line versus a hunt group or a UCD group? Those could be set separately.
Yeah, great point. So thanks for adding that. Once you've checked which of these groups or which of these options you would like for this audio file to apply to, you just hit the edit button over on the right. You'll select the audio file and then save it. And then, of course, make your test call, and you should be able to hear that that music on hold. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys, so I mentioned it in the beginning, is you do have the ability here to add music on hold to multiple sites. And that's done through the use of site groups. So the first thing that you would want to do is come into fulfillment and then site groups. You can then create new site groups, so just by using the add site group. It'll ask you to name the site group and then select which site that you want to include in this group. So if you've got an SMB that has multiple locations, maybe across multiple states or something like that, you can group these specific sites, based on geographic location, or these are sales locations versus support centers. These are retail locations, whatever combination you see fit. You can group the sites up, and then it gives you the ability to change that site level music on hold file for all of these sites at one particular time. So if you had advertising that you wanted all of these sites to be doing based on their region or based on what type of building it is, those are all things that you can do using site groups. So you go in, you add a site group, you select which sites you want to include in that group, and then you save it. Once you've saved it, you can check the box for the site, and then click on the Add MOH file. Once you've clicked on Add MOH file, it'll give you the ability to go in and select which music on hold file you want to choose. So remember, these audio files are still uploaded in the media section, but then you can select them from the site group area, so fulfillment site groups. Check the box, add it, and then check the box for whichever audio file it is that you want to include for this particular site group. Once you hit accept, it will then apply it to all of those locations. All right, so are we seeing any questions come in that we want to speak to?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, so let's do this. Let's go in. I want to show you a little bit about this. So I'm going to pull up my SMB. So again, what we were just looking at first was under fulfillment and then media. This is where you can come, you can manage your audio settings, you can add audio files. So I have gone ahead and added in an audio file here. If I want, what I can do is I can click on my manage settings option. And here you'll see all the different, so the site level hold music. I also have the ability to modify several different options for a UCD group. So the music on hold, the ringback tone, courtesy delays, all of those kinds of things can be modified to very specific audio files. Same thing again for hunt groups. You do have the ability to do music on hold, as well as if there's an overflow process that you guys have, you can add in specific music for that as well. Depending on which one it is that I wanted to edit, let's say I wanted to add music on hold to this particular UCD group, I can go ahead and check that box. I can hit the edit button over on the right-hand side. At that point, I could then select whichever audio file it is that I want to include for the music on hold for this group and hit save. Once I've done that, you'll notice that the music on hold for that particular UCD group has been changed over to the audio file that I selected. So previously it said default, now it's using that specific audio file. And it takes it a couple of minutes to process through, but once you refresh the page, you'll see it does go back into a ready status, meaning that it is should be up and running for you. And then just to show you what it looks like from a site group perspective, if I come into fulfillment and then site groups, you can see I've already created a site group here. If I wanted to add one, I can just click add site group over on the right. I'd add in a name for that group and check the boxes for whichever sites need to be included there. Once you have your site group, you can check the box next to a particular site group, and then you'll see it gives you the ability to add in the music on hold file. All right. So to continue on, the next thing that, and I think we said this in the last webinar, we wanted to start using this forum to talk about some of the releases that are happening. Last month we did release 53.3. It is live across all geographic locations now. So I just kind of wanted to hit on some of the highlights there for what 53.3 included. And then we'll also give you a brief preview of what's coming in 54.1. So again, 53.3 was released, depending on where you're physically located. It was released in February. A couple of the things that have changed there. So we will look at the UCD agent login, logout tracking. We've added in some analytics for Smart Office Connect. And then there were also some fixes made to device management deletion, removal of assurance or quality of service. So this is now shown under the analytics options. So just moving some things around. And then we've also added in a flag to enable or disable sending welcome emails on a site-by-site basis. So if that's something you want to do, you now have the ability to change that on a per-site basis. Whereas previously it was done at the SMB level. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the UCD agent login, logout tracking report. So again, this is it's under assurance and then schedules. This report, it's important to note, it only pulls the login, logout information if they are logging in and logging out of that UCD group using the end user web portal. So if they're using the key codes on the phone or something like that, it's not going to register those in this report. They do need to use the end user web portal to log in and log out in order for this report to capture that information. Essentially what this will do is tell you when they logged in, when they logged out, if they went to break, all of those kinds of things. The next one is to view your Smart Office Connect traffic. So what we've done is under assurance and analytics, you now have the ability of going into your client boards. And under the advanced search, you have the ability to add in a new field for Acrobit. It's not going to tell you whether or not it's desktop or mobile, but it will tell you if it's Acrobit's traffic, so you can see the usage information there. The last thing I wanted to highlight on the 53.3 release is the admin support or admin site updates. So again, we did add in a field to enable or disable sending welcome emails by sites. So if you wanted to, you can now go in and you can have test accounts. So if you have a test account situation and you don't want to send welcome emails to those subscribers, you can certainly disable it on a site-by-site basis so that those test accounts don't get the welcome email. But when you go and actually add real subscribers to the primary site, they would in fact get those welcome emails. So very handy to have, especially when you're going down adding testing and things of that nature. You can eliminate those test emails. Coming in 54.1, so the release date is still pending. It's going to be coming in late Q2. There's some fixes or enhancements that we're doing. So we're going to add in the Poly Edge E-Series phones. And I've listed off a couple of the phones there that we're going to be adding in to the mix, into the portal. We've also made some modifications to the audio codes 405, 405 HD, a couple of the audio code phones. There was an issue with ringback not being heard for when a second call is received. We've made the fix, or we're in the process of making the fixes for that, and it'll be included in the 54.1. As far as the end user web portal, so when searching the personal and company directory lists, instead of displaying first name, last name, SIP address, it's now going to show first name, last name, work number, mobile number, and home number. So we're just changing the way that those fields look in the system and what information is being displayed. We're also simplifying the list of contact details, removing nickname and SIP address, and then the group is also being removed. The last one's subscriber report to include the assigned site public name in addition to the site public number to allow reporting on the actual caller name. So this is just a slight modification that is going to be going in to kind of clean up some of the reports, making them easier for you to use. The last thing that I wanted to talk about on this session today, so there are tons of additional webinars that are available on kandy.io/events. So you can see the upcoming webinars that we have. The next one is going to be in 2 weeks. We're going to be talking about the voicemail call recording and auto attendant in that session. So if those are things that you have questions about or you want to learn some additional information, that one is going to be on March 23rd at 8 a.m. Central Time. So again, it's going to be covering voicemail, call recording, as well as the auto attendant. So we'll take a look at all those different things. We'll dive into each of those products and kind of share some insights on maybe things that you were unaware of with those particular product lines.
We did have a couple of questions that came in on the music on hold, and one was a question of, what is the file size for the music on hold? When you go into the admin and you upload the file, you click to upload a file, it does tell you in the upload screen that the maximum file size is 20 megabits. So that is there. And I guess there was also a question about the in end user documentation that you can share on the music on hold. That is all within the partner portal, and I don't know if you still have that up, Simon, but on the partner portal, you can go into documentation, and it is, yes, go to documentation and go to partner documentation, and it is the portal guide, user guide for organizations. And so that's not going to go to an end user, but you can click on that, download the file, and you can search for media. And you can also, scroll down or search for media, music on hold, something like that. But it's under the subscribe or fulfillment area within that. And so as you, yeah. There you go. And if you scroll down, there it is right there. I just saw music on hold, sorry. Subscribers, keep going, services, keep going, music on hold, right there, stop. Just up on the previous page. It says music on hold next to up right there. And you just click it and it shows you how to do that. So there's no end user documentation because this is not a function for a subscriber to control. It's an administrative function that you set on their behalf. And it's set on a site level. You can set music on hold as we've shown here for UCD groups and hunt groups and the like. So anyway, so that's where the documentation is of what we were just talking about. And there was another question on controlling the contents of the welcome message. Currently, there is no way to control the contents of the welcome message that would send out for a new subscriber. But those are things that we've asked product team to allow us to modify in the future, but we don't have any time frame for that. But the good thing is if you want to turn it off, you can do that.
All right. Was that all of the questions that are coming in?
There are. Sharon, did we miss any?
Yes. Jerry asked if there's merge field somewhere, but I wasn't quite sure where we were talking when he asked that.
Yeah,
so that
it's
might
about
be the welcome letter.
Oh, yeah, I think that is. And you cannot edit that. There's no like mail merge type of things. Yeah.
Yeah, that we covered all the messages.
Mhm.
Great, folks. Well, I appreciate you joining. That was everything that we wanted to cover. Again, if you are interested in the upcoming webinars, they are available on kandy.io/events. So if you wanted to go ahead and sign up or register for those, you certainly can. Alternatively, if you wanted to view any of the past webinars, again, those have been moved over to the partner portal under the webinars section. There's a knowledge article for past webinars. And you can view all the previous information there. Again, 2 weeks from today, March 23rd, we are going to be doing voicemail call recording and auto attendant. So if that piques your interest, go ahead and register for it, and we will talk to you guys then. Thanks, everyone.